Welcome to the Feaster 5 virtual training program. For the next 12 weeks, we're going to provide you with 3 weekly workouts. One workout is going to be a track or hill repeat workout, one's going to be a strength workout, and one's going to be a balance and flexibility workout. Just to give you a brief format of how our strength program is going to work, each week we're going to provide 8 to 10 exercises, upper body, lower body, and core exercises because running is a full body sport. We're also going to include lateral exercises. Even though when you run, you're not moving side to side, it's important to work on those lateral muscles to build a strong core, again, to help prevent injury. We're also going to provide modifications for beginner runners, and we're going to provide ways to make the exercises more challenging for more advanced runners. This is week 1 of our 12-week strength training for runners program. The important thing about strength training is that it provides a strong base, so as you progress doing more miles and more intense workouts, you're going to have that strong base, which is going to help you prevent injuries. The other thing I'd like for you to do is make sure that you do a quick warm-up before you start the strength workouts. Our strength workouts are not going to include a warm-up, but try to do a few minutes just to warm up your leg muscles, get the blood flowing. We're going to start out doing squats. Squats are very important because we're working on our glutes, and our glutes are our central powerhouse. So strong glutes are going to help our running as well as help our injury prevention. A few things that you want to pay attention to when you're squatting is you want to make sure your posture, first of all, always good posture. Long, lean spine. Your neck should be in line with your spine. Don't want to look forward. Don't want to look back. You want to make sure that your legs are about hip width apart. And as you're squatting, you want to keep your knees in line with your feet. So you don't want your knees going in or out. And you want to make sure that your knees are not going beyond your toes as you squat. So if you feel that any of those form points are being compromised as you're squatting, just modify it and don't squat as low. Okay, more advanced runners can add weight, can hold the weights in front, do that here. So that's really up to you and the degree you want to modify it. So we're going to start out by doing 8 squats. If you feel that is too much, again, as a beginner, you can modify it. Just do 2 or 3, and you do not have to go as far as I'm going. But ideally, when you squat, you do want to bring your hips low so that they are parallel with your knees. The other thing to think about is breathing. You always want to breathe deep right through your diaphragm. You don't want to breathe shallow into your lungs. You want to go all the way to your diaphragm. Next exercise we're going to do is a front lunge. You want to focus on the same points as we did when we were doing the squat. You want to make sure your neck is in line with your spine, your posture is good, long, lean spine. You're going to step out with your left leg and you're going to drop that back knee, and then you're going to push off both legs and step back. So we're going to do 8 on each side. And it's okay to lean forward a little bit from your hips, but you want to keep that spine long. Focus on your breathing. So we're gonna do 8 on each side. And you can modify that accordingly. If you're not able to go all the way down to your knee, that's okay, but make sure you do not compromise your form. You can also modify and drop the weights. So I'm just gonna do 2 more without weights. Okay, and left and right side. 1, 2, and same thing with as it is with a squat. You do not want your front knee to go beyond your toes. And also keep that knee from moving laterally. So you always want to keep your knee in line with your foot. You want to eliminate any lateral movement. Also make sure your shoulders are down and back. You want to keep that upper body relaxed. Next, we're going to do side lunges. So again, we want to focus on the same points as we did with lunges and squats. When doing a side lunge, you're working lateral muscles, which are important for building a stronger core, helping your running, and that you are preventing injuries by building that stronger core. So we're going to keep our hands behind our neck. If you have weights, you can bring the weights in front, keep your arms at a 90-degree angle. We're going to just start out, we're going to do 8 left side lunges. We're going to lunge out, keep that foot in line with your knee. You want to get your hips back. So ideally you're at a 90-degree angle from your knee to your hips. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, nice long spine, 7, 8, hips back, and right side, and 1, 2, so just like in a squat, your hips are going to go back, so your weight is back on your heels. 5, 6, 7, 8. The next exercise that we're going to do is a shoulder bridge with a leg raise. The important thing here is to keep your hips high and your hips in line with your shoulders. So when you push up into a shoulder bridge, you want to keep those hips high. You don't want to have sagging hips, or you're not going to get the full benefit of the exercise. So you want to have a line from your shoulders, hips to knees. Okay, you can keep your arms out to the side. You want to hands over your chest. If you want to make it more challenging, you can add some weight to your hip area. So I'm going to do it with my hands right over my chest. I'm going to extend my right leg, keep my hips high, keep my ankle flexed, and breathe. So I want to make sure I come down nice and slow, control it. 3, 4, keep focusing, high hips. 5, 6, 7, 8, and the left side. 1. And if you feel like you need some out of balance, if you're not able to keep your hips high while doing it, just bring your arms out to the side. 4, that focus is on your high hips. So this is a very important core exercise. The next exercise we're going to do is a roll-up, and we're going to do a roll-up with weights for upper body. You can use light weights if you're a beginner, or you can eliminate the weights totally to start with. The important thing to remember when you're doing a roll-up is that you want to roll down slowly, one vertebrae at a time, and up slowly. Don't want to just drop down. So slow, controlled motion. If you feel that you're comfortable with that, that's not challenging, then keep your arms straight up, perpendicular to the ground. Roll down one vertebrae at a time and up one vertebrae at a time. When you add the weights, you're going to keep the weights right by your hips. You're going to roll down slowly and stretch. Back down with the weights. Roll down and reach. Don't forget breathing deep into your diaphragm. Nice controlled motion. 5. If you do want to add weights and you're just starting to add weights, start with real light 2-pound weights. Also, always remember as you're rolling down, keep your neck long in line with your spine. You don't want to look down, don't want to look back. Think about just holding an orange between your chest and your chin. Exercise is a real important exercise for our runners. Runners tend to have weak hips, so this is very important to keep your hips strong. We're going to start out in a side plank, and your focus is going to be on keeping your hips forward. Try to stack your feet 1 foot over the other. If you need more balance, you could put 1 foot behind the other. If you want to modify it, then you're just going to do it on your knees. If you're on your knees, you want to make sure keep those hips high. So even though you're on your knees, you don't want to drop your hips like that and just do a little range of motion. You want to get a complete range of motion, dropping your hips, raising your hips. So I'm going to demonstrate in a side plank on my feet, but feel free to do them on your knees. So you can keep your arms, your opposite arm perpendicular to the ground. Think about reaching with that arm to keep your hips extended, and then drop your hips and lift. So you want to be in one straight line. It's called a plank because your body should be straight like a plank. You don't want to let those hips fall back. Keep them forward. And we're on 4. Same thing with your neck. Again, in line with your spine. 7, 8. And we're just going to switch sides. Same focus. And we're going to do it with our arm over our head. Hips forward, long spine. Hips down and lift. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Our next exercise is going to be a side leg lift, and this exercise is another good one for your hips. You want to think about keeping your leg very straight. Your ankle is going to be flexed, and you have a slight bend in your waist. So as you lift, again, you want to keep it slow and controlled. Go up to 10 o'clock. because you want to keep that muscle contracted. You go up all the way, you're actually releasing that contraction. So we're just going right here, 10 o'clock, and then down. So make sure that your hips are not rolling forward or back. You want them directly in line. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Right leg, 1, up to 10 o'clock, down slow. 2, 3, 4, make sure your hips are square to the front. 5, 6, breathe, 7, and 8. Our last exercise today is Superman. So when you're doing a Superman, you want to focus on what I was talking about with your neck, long spine. Don't look up or don't tuck it under. Just look down directly underneath you. You're going to lift both arms and think about extending from your shoulders, and both legs. Think about extending from your hips. So you're reaching in both directions. Keep your ankles either flexed or extended. It's up to you. And we're going to hold it for 5 seconds. Look directly below you and up. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. And up. 4, 5. Breathe. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And Superman is a great exercise for your lower back, and keeping a strong lower back is very important for preventing injury for runners. That's it for this week's strength exercises. Hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget, unless you're a beginner, you're going to go on with 2 to 3 more sets of the exercises that we've just completed. Have a great week and look forward to seeing you again next week.